from the Beyond the Mic studios. A Beyond the Mic original series. This is Talkin' Dirt with Dirt. Produced and edited by J.T. Sloan. Here is your host, the Dirt Man, J.T. Dirty.
Let's begin.
Welcome, everybody. This is Talking Dirt with Dirt. I'm your host, the Dirt Man. And today I got a very special guest because I've had a lot of musical performers on here. I've even had some managers on here. But I think today is going to be the first day we've ever had an actual actor on the show. So I'd like to introduce the one, the only, Mr. Blake Wright. Blake, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, JT. How you doing, man?
I am doing good. I got my coffee going as we were talking earlier. You got your coffee going.
Oh yeah.
Nice little peace pipe here for wake and bakes. I always have to keep myself in the right frame of mind in this world, in this day and age. But
keep the creative juices flowing. I get you.
I gotta keep Mother Nature alive within me.
Damn right, man. Damn right.
But so I had the great honor and privilege of getting introduced to you at the New Year's Eve Channel 5 little bash that we had with Luigi and all them down at the station. And I gotta say, right from the get-go, you're a very respectable guy. Just the way you held yourself, your whole demeanor, the way you dress, you hold yourself to a certain standard, and I respect that. And then you dropped a bombshell on me that not only did you act, but you also do hip hop, or not hip hop, but music in general. I would say more of an R&B type style, which is very, very fine because you do it well. And
Thank
then
you.
when I found out that you even had like over 300 songs, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I got some homework.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
let's start off with, how'd you get started in acting before we even get to the music thing, and where are you from?
I'm from a little town on the coast of Maine in Washington County called Columbia. And it's not really famous for much other than big blueberry fields, and they're trying to put up the world's biggest flag there right now. But it's small town, 60 kids in my high school class, just the country, dude. And 45 minutes to Walmart, about 50 minutes to Bar Harbor. So we got the chance to grow up and use our imaginations, which was really fun. So I think that's the first start into acting. Is I was just that kid who would,
Let your mind wander.
Yeah, play in the backyard. I loved getting a notebook and packing up a couple fruit roll-ups and a peanut butter sandwich and going into the woods with my dog and making up stories. And I had a couple cousins my age, and we always loved just making movies on flip video cameras or using iMovie and iPod touches, and then later iPhones, and make some fun stuff. And so it got to the point when I, was in college, and really when I was a senior in high school, I was trying to figure out what am I going to go do in college? And school was so small, there was never a theater program. When I was there was at 1 year. So I went to school, and I didn't really like my major, and I found myself doing everything else but my work for class. And there was flyers around the college I was at that was like $50 to act in this project, $40 to act in this project. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to give that a try. So that's what I did. And I got started doing short films at the New England School of Communication.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Now, so, you talked about, doing, making videos and all that stuff and using your iPod. When I started making videos, it was, I was trying to make wrestling promos because I was a big wrestling fanatic.
Yeah.
And I used to use the VHS, the actual big VHS camcorder recorder, and
Yeah.
that's how we made our videos initially at the beginning. And so it's just kind of ironic because I never once like used iPods to make videos or anything like that. But now that you say that, I'm like, yeah, they did have that capability. I never
Yeah.
even would have thought of that at the time.
We used to use, I mean, in some projects I still do, but like, some of those early style DSLR 1080p's,
Yep.
from I had a Canon like TI2, and that was a really big deal back in like 2012 for
Right. Right.
so yeah, at the time, and it was fun to use and easy to use, and the schools gave us MacBooks, so I mean we just had to pop in an SD chip and we could literally make whatever we wanted, and it was fun. So we
Yeah.
do sketches mostly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is crazy how much technology has advanced to, make that more accessible for, us, as far as making it easier. Cause I mean, like I've shot a lot of my music videos with, just a cell phone camera, initially. And the cell phone cameras nowadays are so, high definition that it's like, it almost puts some photographers obsolete because of what the capability that you can do just with a cell phone alone
Yeah.
instead of like what you could do with those old school cannons and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. It's like it's interesting you say that. It's like you never think photography. I don't ever think it'll truly die,
Right.
but it does, because those guys, they know how to work lighting. They know how to just make angles, and there's a reason they get paid to do it. Some of the best of
Oh
them.
yeah.
But I see what you mean too. It's like portrait mode. You ever heard of a selfie center?
Yes, I actually
Those
have.
things are going to become, they're going to come to every single town one day, or every
Oh yeah.
single major city, with the tripods that you can just put your phone on, and the right lighting in those places. They look like that you're having a glam shoot done, if
Oh
you're a
yeah.
girl, or a theme shoot guy, whatever. Like, I'm not, maybe whatever,
You're
you
just
know.
trying to be a model in general.
Yeah, just your influencing hat, like that's exactly where you go to do it. So
Right, right. No, it's cool that from a young age you already had that imagination, that drive to create, and you know whether it's a story, writing, drawing, or whatever it may be, you had a vision of, okay, I can create something out of a bit, essentially out of thin air, and make it valuable to watch,
yeah.
and with that being said, like, so where did you find music along the acting trail? Because usually it's like a lot of people do one or the other, not necessarily both. So I'm kind of curious on where was that fork in the road that kind of got you to do both?
Well, that's a tough question. I'd say that got to go back a little bit, or got to go back to the acting story and then go forward. Um, I'm studied acting in North Carolina when I lived there for a year in Charlotte, and I really started to understand understand it as an art and a craft rather than something you just did.
Yeah.
And it made me want to go back to university. I dropped out, moved to North Carolina, tried to become get into movies down there, and did that. And I went to method school down there at the time. So I learned some styles of acting and learned some questions to ask and how to build a character.
Yeah.
So when I started getting good at building characters, and when I went back to the University of Southern Maine after that, and got much more practice, on the stage, and did some other films in Boston and some indies. So the more and more you build a character, the more and more you find that it's pivotal to have the character have a voice that's unique to its own. And I was really going hard at that. but I always wrote poetry on the side.
Yep.
But I'm do a Shakespeare in the park and then go sing karaoke and write a poem. And then somewhere in between, it would feel like maybe we need to combine all of these things.
Yep.
And I started with the goal of creating a poetry book. And I did that, and I made found just seven years worth of poems, put it all together, put it all, in somewhat of an order and somewhat of themes, and just spent a lot of time deciding which ones to keep, which ones not to, and analyzed my writing.
Yeah.
And analyzed a little bit of like who I was, and I was going through a moment too. My grandmother passed away, and I was really close with her. In the fall of 22, I put my book out in February 23. I started prepping my book and really sitting down and writing it in July. So somewhere along that time, I, showed a first draft to a couple of people, and I hired an editor, and I realized that I really do love music, and I really do love hip hop and what they do as it's not just like artists, but as characters. And I think that's the part about hip hop that drew me in, the superpowers.
Yep.
No way that come around with telling who you are.
Yep.
And finding hip hop's the only medium where it is so friggin' cool to talk about your pain and your feelings, and you can connect yourself to, I don't know, Leonardo DiCaprio. Like you could just find a rhyme that works, and you're like,
Well, no, I get it. Like I referenced in one of my songs, I say something along the lines, I'm kicking around like I'm Jackie Chan, bringing that fight to that haters clan, So,
yeah.
and I get exactly what you're saying. You
Yeah,
get
I'm looking for that Leonardo DiCaprio to star in the biopic about this flick. Like, it's just
see,
you got there's something that was so cool about that. And my editor told me, she's like, you should, this reads more like a song. So we pulled out a lot of stuff from the book, and I reworded some things.
yeah,
And then once the book was published, I decided to just try making music. And I met a guy when I was filming a movie called One for the Road. And his name's Jules, and he's a great actor, Julian Finley. But his rap name is Jules, and he's out of Massachusetts. And he brought the studio literally to the Airbnb that they were housing the movie cast and crew up in
okay.
Maine. So we would just, after working, after shooting all day, just go in there and make some music, man, until we absolutely had to fall asleep. And my cousin is a Christian hip hop artist.
Yep.
So I've always been around that. And, when we used to live together, we used to just play Give Me a Word, and, just rap.
Right.
The word could be whatever, explicit, blue, show. So and we just go for
Just do, do you also do like actual throw on, instrumental beats and, do the freestyle and kick it that way and
all the time. It's the
see
only
what
way to
goes
do
off
it.
top? Yep. Right.
Yeah.
Especially like back in the day of riding in, like I don't know about you, but me and my cousins and my brothers, we would go for like a burn cruise in the car,
Yeah.
and freaking we'd throw on actual like Tupac song or whatever and try to rap over it, so it was even harder because you had this music blaring with his lyrics, and yet you were trying to rap over it with your own freestyle, so it kind of get jambled up a little bit, so by the time I think it was like LimeWire came around, I was able to start getting instrumentals off LimeWire.
Yeah.
And start working my flavor that way.
Oh, dude, that's that we've had those sort of rides for sure. You know, in the past. Um, I love putting on a beat, and we would test ourselves, which was the funny part about it. We wouldn't just put on, you know, a 90s boom bap, 90s hip hop. Like we wouldn't put on a Drake style beat.
No.
We would throw on the Taxi Driver, Martin Scorsese
Yeah.
soundtrack, find one of the songs and try to create a character, tell a story, and make it rhyme and make it flow. And really, like, it was kind of funny, but it was also like, this is pretty good too at the same time. It was a stretch.
That sounds like very creative training, actually. That sounds like a really smart way to open up your mind for creation of any type of music. Because if you can do that to like any random song, any random beat, any random instrumental, I mean, you are opening a whole freaking wide door of all these options and avenues you can go down with your music category. Because a lot of people, and at least locally that I know, that they're solidified. They're either pure hip hop or they're pure rock. Don't get me wrong, they like the other genres, but they don't mess with the other genres because they don't their talent is not in the other genres. It's a hip hop person is stuck with their hip hop. Me, I kind of feel like I walk the line of a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I like to tap into everything. That's why I'm not, by far, I will never take credit for it. I am not the best DJ out there, but I know how to DJ a little bit, and it's like I know how to do hip hop. I know how to do rock. I'm still doing a rock band thing now. So it's just it's one of those things that I think that when someone, in your caliber, clearly it has paid off to the point that that open box creativity of things that you did when you were younger got you to this point. Because I mean, what's your total discography of songs? You got 300 and what, 20 something?
I've got 330 at this point. I think I have a total of 334 tracks as of last night. I made one more. And then there's a few of them that are covers on my discography.
And that's incredible because in the window of how long have you been actually making these?
I've been making music since February like 19th last year.
So within a year's time, roughly, okay,
Yep.
made 330 songs.
Yes.
Okay. That is fucking dedication. All right. Pardon my French, ladies and gentlemen, but that is fucking dedication right there. Because I hear
appreciate it, brother.
Well, I don't like to just blow smoke. Okay. I have to take a hit first and make sure it's good quality before I blow smoke. And that's what I do with music too. Okay. I don't just blow up smoke for no reason. I have a lot of people that have been on my show that have talked the talk, walked the walk, and they not saying that they're wrong, but the comparison is unmatched. I mean, these guys been at it for 10 plus years and they got maybe that many. Okay.
Wow.
Me personally, I've been working at my music now for between rock and rap about 10 plus years. And as far as hip hop's concerned, I only have maybe about 20 songs and then collabs on top of that. And then for rock, I have one song that I recorded like 10 years ago with a fucking cell phone. Okay.
Yep.
So it's like, it's not good quality. It's, nothing to
Needs a
brag about.
retouching.
Yeah. So, and I've been working at it hard, but I've been working at hard at a different aspect. My thing is to get Maine on the map, regardless if it's me, you, or anyone else.
Yep.
So my focus has not been directed at me. It's been directed at everybody. And it's proven that, with Beyond the Mic, Talking Dirt, everything that I do with Lee, because with my thing is I'm no good if you're no good.
Yep.
You
For
know,
sure.
and everyone should network and connect and bring this state up because you hear about, actors, performers, and all that stuff. Almost none of them come from Maine.
Yeah.
It's a small list. It's a really small list that make it from Maine. And I just think
People you can
it's,
count on one hand for
yeah,
sure.
and it's one of those things that's sad because people like you, amazing talents that have a whole caliber of talent that they can offer, whether it's music, acting, whatever. So I wanted to stop and just give you that props, because I mean, to do 330 songs within a year's time, plus stay on top of your acting, and then try to even, have whatever type of social life outside of that as well. Like that's commendable. I
Thank
want
you.
I want any artist that's watching this to take note on what this gentleman is doing. That's dedication. Okay. Now, I gotta
I
ask,
appreciate that. Yeah.
with that being said, has this been on your own, or has this been, have you had like a woman in your life that helped you get there, a best friend, anything like that? Or has this just been you chasing one opportunity after another?
It's been a combination. I mean, I think that I have first off, I want to say thank you, because looking back, I have realized that it's been a really special journey making all this songs. But I think I did it straight up to process just some pain in my life. I told you my grandmother died a little bit before my book came out, and I immediately went into making music after that. I kind of processed her death last summer. Was kind of processing a heartbreak last summer, but man, I've also been living it up and having fun, and dealing with the struggles of trying to do something cool and special and authentic and who true to you in 2020, 3 to 2024. There's a lot of challenges, and I'm try to bring those up. And it's not, you know, I do it for me at the end of the day. I mean, that's the only reason. You cannot sustain it. 330 songs. I still go out with my friends, maybe, once a week, but there's a lot of nights where I got home from work and, after dinner, maybe a little bit of a workout, just go to the car and put myself there and not leave until I made something, even if it was shit. And I could always rework it the next day, but try to make a song. Literally, I'm going there. I'm going to try to do it. And that sort of, I'm not disciplined in every single area of my life, but I love telling stories through music, and I love expressing myself that way. And it's probably a combination of just obsessive compulsive disorder and pure fucking will and pure, I don't know, man, maybe it's hard to describe, but it's almost like
Purpose.
and it's been healing, and it's been a lot of different things, and it's made me a way better actor.
Yeah.
It's made me a way better, I don't want to say it's the next evolution for me as an artist. And this is what this phase has been. And I'm literally don't look at the songs as songs. I look at it as my daily creative workout. And I feel like, how when you skip a workout and you feel like, man,
You're behind.
tired, I'm sluggish, whatever, like, or you eat a cheat meal.
Yeah.
When I have to do something creative every day. I made a promise to myself that if I'm not making a song, I'm at least making a 6-line poem. And because that's the only way I can feel, I don't know, it just feels good. So I think that that's the main point. And plus I got a lot of stories to tell. I've lived a lot of life, and I try to live with intent.
Yep.
And, I still try to go have fun. I still save up and go on that Puerto Rico trip, and I got to tell about it, and I'm single and 27, man. So, I mean, it's like, there's a lot of stories to tell.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy that I have music.
I gotta say, because I'm 34, I'm gonna be 35 this year. Um, and when I started, just toying with the idea of music, I was 21. But when I first really started, you know, going forth with it and started putting it into work and actually like work on my hip hop, I was I think 28, 29. And my first concert I ever actually did was for my Dirty 30. I rented out a pool hall and
Hell
I
yeah.
had a concert there with all my buddies I met through the hip hop industry.
Wow.
And so it was, and I only met everybody at that point with a year less time. And these guys came through knowing that I wasn't going to guarantee pay them, but I did. I was actually smart about it. What I did was everyone was, it was my Dirty 30. So people were showing up with cards and money with cards and all that stuff. So all the money that I was getting from all my friends showing up, I took that and I paid them out with it.
That's smart, man.
So
That,
it
you're a
helped.
hustler, brother. I'm gonna give you that always, man. That's the one thing I love about you, dude.
Well, I always try to find a way of how does everyone leave happy?
Yep.
That's my mission in life. I figured that out very early on, that that's my mission in life. How can I make everybody happy? Because I'm not a greedy person. Don't get me wrong. I want money. I'm not knocking that. So if you got
Yeah.
it, give it. I'm telling anyone that right now. If you got money, give it to me. Not but I'm not a
And then
greedy.
what's left over, throw to me
Yeah,
after
exactly. I mean, me and Blake 50-50 right now,
that.
right? But no, I'm just saying in general, my thing was loyalty and friendship and memories always outweigh any price.
Yep.
And that's the way I've always looked at it, because like I've been in this hip hop scene in Maine now for 4+ years, and it's been crazy. It's really been crazy. We've been to shows that have been good, bad, ugly, and everything in between, from big crowds to low crowds. We've booked Onyx, thanks to I will not take responsibility for this. That was all Lee Giles that made that happen. So shout out to Lee Giles for that, making that happen. But Beyond the Mic was able to book Onyx, and that was big for us. That was a monumental moment for us to be able to have such a big name come through. And really just a pillar back in the day for the hip hop scene, in the 90s and shit. So I'm just, I'm grateful for the memories, all of all. Like I'm still probably in the hole with everything I've invested into this company, and I'm okay with that, because the lives that I've been able to meet and introduce and then share to the world, and help put on a platform that because that was always my goal, was not to put me on the map, but to put Maine on the map.
Mm.
That's why we incorporated that in our logo, was
Yep.
because we wanted, it's not about us, it's about everybody.
Yeah.
And so with
And
that
there's enough to go around.
Well, with that being said, that's I think why you and I resonated at New Year's, because when you performed, so getting back to what I started with, you performed at New Year's that night, and that was like an eye-opener moment for me. That because don't take this the wrong way when I say this, but with how well dressed you were, never in a million years would I thought you were going to be friggin' singing.
Well, I like to surprise people, man.
And that was awesome, because it was a wonderful surprise. We had some dropouts that night, and you were able to step up right there on the spot and help us out, which was awesome. And
And I gotta thank you for the opportunity, like straight up. Like that was just right place, right time for me.
well, for both of us.
Yeah.
because here we are today, and it was like we had a nice meeting the other day to kind of set this interview up initially, and we had a great talk, and I just I love people that have bright futures ahead of them, and if I can at all help usher that in, I'm all for it. And then to find out that you want to, work with Beyond the Mic, and you want to start doing shows with us and all that stuff, that was like, okay, this guy's cool already. Great person, great friend. And that's kind of the way I look at it. We start off as friends before we start working business, and that's cool with me
Yep.
because that tells me character. It's not about the money, it's about, can I trust this person first?
Well, it's about the work, man. I mean, that's
That too.
what I'm all about at this point. I'm not about, you know, I'm not about, I was just talking with a friend last night, like, and congratulations to all the artists who won like Grammys and were a part of it. But I think that sometimes we forget that it's about making the best possible thing, and in the work and doing it. And we're not searching for perfectionism. I'm not trying. Look, all my songs, they got imperfections. They're basically demo recordings.
Yeah.
I'm not going into the studio and making anything. I'm making literally everything in my car or at my house and starting that process there. And I think that when I say it's about the work, I mean that it's for the soul of the work. And you understand that. You understand that we do this because this is part of who we are. And that's why I act, man. I mean, look, if I wanted an easier way, I wouldn't, be auditioning and struggling and like, dealing with the ideas of like, am I good enough, and facing that self-reflection, facing the mirror. When you're making art, you're facing the mirror. And I think that that's why I do this. Like I need to know who I am. And the only way I can know who I am is by going there and for a lack of a better word, going there and facing the mirror. And I think that you get that because you clearly do, this with what you do. So
No, and I think that going into your line of work, especially with acting, you need to have an understanding of not only success but failure. You need to have an understanding of um, you know, not having things handed to you but earning them along the way, because that's going to reflect into your work. You're going to give it more drive, desire, passion, and that's going to ultimately make you the best, performer, actor, musician, whatever it may be. And, going back to what we're going to end up, doing, getting you on some of these shows, do you have a set already in mind that because you got 330 songs, so when you're going to the show that you're going to perform at, how are you going to scale that down to 4 or 5 songs or whatever it may be, even 6 or 7, scaling it down to that many? Or what's going to stick out to you that you're going to want to show to the world, or that night, the audience?
again, the 330 is the creative workout, and it's going to be tough, but thankfully I think that it's going to depend on the theme of the night, the theme of the show. I'm an actor. So what's the theme? Is it, I like how Drake does it. He does, like, he names his tours, like they sound like a movie.
Yeah.
Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
And I think that if the hardest show to create would be just okay, this is who I am. This is the showcase, but if you want, it's like, Blake, do you want to come in for a bunch of hip hop? I got, 12 tracks. I can just absolutely right off the bat, just go in and kill it. If it's more of a soulful show, I got some stuff. More of an upbeat pop, Calvin Harris style dance, I got some stuff.
No.
So the way I'm gonna be able to pick it is it gonna be a challenge, but I definitely want to do that, and it'll just come. I'm not too worried about it.
That was the end of part 1 with Blake Wright. Make sure you stay tuned next week for part 2 with Blake Wright. Until then, this is Talking Dirt with Dirt. I'm Dirt Man, and we're out.